Hello, my friends. This is Cody C. Engdahl. And if any of you ever wanted to come out and talk to me or maybe get a signed book in person where I can personalize it for you, in person, personalize, using the same word in the twice in the same sentence. I am going to be at the Lotes House this coming Saturday. I'll be there all day from, I think, 9 to 5. So come out and see me. So anyway, my name is Cody C. Engdahl, and this is my unofficial open. I am the author of four, soon to be the author of 5 novels and 2 nonfiction books, all of which you can get on Amazon. In fact, the link is below. And by the way, while you're checking out the link, please give me a like on this video. And I would really like to have your subscription. Now, if you subscribe, it doesn't mean you pay any money, nothing like that. It just means that when I put up videos and you come onto YouTube, you'll see that I have, and you can click on them. I don't know if it'll you can do different things. You can do it where you just know when someone's on, then you can, like, if you come onto YouTube, you see that they've done a video and can watch it. And there's a lot of people I subscribe to. There's also where you get notifications. So if I'm about to go live, you'll get a notification. You can come on here and we can talk. And I want this to be interactive. So if you want to talk to me, if you want to send a comment, I got my comments up here. I can see them. I might even bring some people on if you got a camera on your end. So anyway, doing book signings, and let's first talk about the ones I have coming up. So this weekend, I'm going to be at the Lotes House. The Lotes House is it's a museum in Franklin, Tennessee. It's about a half-hour drive from downtown Tennessee, or I'm sorry, downtown Nashville. I live in Nashville. And it is a very interesting story. The house was built by Mr. Lotes. I can't remember his first name, but he's in the Lotes House, and this man and his daughter are in my book, Blood for Blood at Nashville, in which I depict the Battle of Franklin as well. So anyway, Mr. Lotes was a German immigrant who, ironically enough, he had left Germany because of all the upheavals and fighting and problems, political problems there, to come to America, where he thought it'd be a better life and a safer life for him and his family. And he built this house because he was a master carpenter and woodworker. He built this house right along the Nashville Franklin Pike as a showpiece for other to get, for clients to show, like, this is the kind of work I do. Come look at my house. He built the furniture in there, everything. Well, it turns out that this house was front row seat to the Battle of Nashville, in which the battle happened. The epicenter of the battle happened just outside his door, and then the days after, his house was used as a hospital. And so, if you ever are in Franklin, even if I'm not there, it's a great place to stop if you want to get a good picture of see what it was like to live back at that time, and to see a house that went through the battle. There's even a cannonball went through the floor. You can see that there's bullet holes, and it's a very interesting place. It's owned by a good friend of mine, J.T. Thompson, and I've known him for years. And this is the very first brick and mortar place, to carry my books, and you can go there anytime and find my books. But on Friday, I've done this a few times now, where he'll say, "Hey, we got to do a Cody Engdahl Day," which makes me laugh. It plays right to me. I love Cody Engdahl Day. But anyway, they had me come out there. And if you didn't know this about me, I'm also a fiddle player, and I play kind of Civil War era style fiddle. Anyway, long story short is that I will be out there all day this coming Saturday. I'm going to get there. And, he says, you can come and leave when you want to. Well, an opportunity like this, I'm going to be there all day. So I'm going to get there at 9, and I'll probably be, if the weather is nice, I'll be out on the porch. We'll have my books out there. Come talk to me. I'll just be hanging out, talking to people. I'll have my books out there. So if you want to buy a book, the way it works with that one is I'm bringing, because I have boxes of my own books, I'm bringing my books, but you take it you buy it inside. You get the book, I sign it, you take it inside, you pay for it. I'll have all 4 books there. Last time I did it, I think I only had the trilogy, the Civil War trilogy. Now I have Mexico, My Love, which is very exciting, and I think Mexico. I'm proud of all my books, absolutely. Even the first one I put out, I'm still very proud of, and it's very successful. And the reason why I say it's very successful is because book 2 and 3, and even book 4, all sell. And if people didn't like book 1, they would not come back and buy book 2. And I'm always particularly excited when anybody comes and buys The Perils of Perryville, because that means they read Rampage on the River, my first book, and they wanted more. So good. It's funny because initially I didn't want to get into direct book sales. I wanted to just do everything through Amazon, everything. Mostly I do. Like, most of my books are sold through there. And what's really interesting is I write Civil War. Well, I don't do that only, but I have a Civil War trilogy, and it's very popular in the UK. Some months I do better in the UK than I do in the US. So, and I also wanted to do, I wanted to be available for digital as well. So, like, Kindle and Kindle Unlimited. And I would say that my book sales on Amazon are split 3 ways. I about a third of my royalty comes from print, about a third comes from ebooks, and a third comes from Kindle Unlimited. And if you don't know what Kindle Unlimited is, think about it as Netflix for readers. So you pay a monthly fee, and there's hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands, I don't know, millions authors on there that have their books that you can read. And I think when you read it, the rate changes, not for you, but for us, but it's about a little less than half a penny per page that you read. So you get paid for, so if people are constantly reading your books on Kindle Unlimited, which I have a pretty consistent trickle on that. Like, there's always at least somebody on Kindle Unlimited reading something of mine that I'm pulling a little money from. But anyway, yeah, I was not interested in doing direct sales. But then when my first book came out, I had friends and family who said, I want a signed copy. And so I was like, okay, well, so I went out. At first I bought a few only because for the specific people that wanted them. But then it turned out to be there was a lot more that wanted them. And so I started buying them by the box. And I buy them. I did the math and I looked, what's the most cost effective? Because you only pay for the actual cost of producing the book, and there's not a whole lot more markup than that. So I figured out, I did the math to see, is it more effective to buy with the shipping 5 copies, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50? And I found out that it's most cost effective with the shipping cost to buy them in boxes of 20. And that works out for me too. So I always have at least I buy them by 20. Anytime I get down to 10 or less, I buy another box. I try not to have more than 30, 30 at a time. I have more than 30 at a time of all my books right now because I have back-to-back signings and there's not enough time. There's about a 10-day wait period. So when I order a box of books, I got to wait 10 days, which I understand. They can't just stop everything and print out 20 books for me. So I make sure that I have at least 10 of every book for every signing I do. And that's so if I have back-to-back stuff, I'll make sure that there's enough for both. And, and I always say, like, I hope I don't sell out this coming weekend because I got an event the next coming weekend. But then again, that's a good problem to have. But then again, you don't ever want to sell out, because if you sell out, that means there might have been people that wanted books that you didn't have to provide for them. So the 2 things I'm doing are the Lotes House this Saturday in Franklin. We'll talk more about that. And then the following weekend, I'm going to be at a Civil War show called Morgan on the Rim. And that is in Ridgetop, Tennessee. So Franklin, if you can imagine, here's Nashville. Franklin is south of Nashville. Ridgetop is north of Nashville. And it's a 3-day weekend, and they're going to have like reenactors. There's going to be cannons. They're going to do cannon demonstrations, and there's going to be, all sorts of vendors and things like that. And there's going to be other authors there too. And they put all of us authors like in a house, so you can go into a house and talk to the different authors. And I will also be playing my fiddle. And I think that's one of the reasons why they give me a table at that, is because me playing Civil War fiddle stuff, and I'll wear my uniform. Or usually try not to wear the uniform because my uniform is Union, which you would think that's fine. But I want to sell books to everybody, and some people who have relatives or ancestors that fought for the Confederacy, they still have bad feelings about it. So if they see you in a Yankee uniform, they may not want to buy your book. So not to upset anybody, I am living in the South. If you didn't know that, I live in Nashville, Tennessee. And so that's 3 days. That will be all day. Let's see. We start on Friday, the 27th, and so I'll be there Friday, the 27th, the 28th, and the 29th. That'll be a lot of fun too. Come on down. I don't know if there's a fee for that. The Lotes House, there is a fee if you want to do the tour. They got a tour. Highly recommend it. They got great storytellers there, and it's a very interesting story. But I will be on the front porch playing my fiddle, and that's absolutely free. Then if you want to buy a book, you can. Let me see if I can pull some things up here. Let's do share screen, and let's do this. Facebook. Okay, we're going to share that. Bam. All right. So if you want to know hang on, let me see if that's working. Okay, great. So if you want to know, see what I look like in my uniform, that's me with some of my fellow sons of Union veterans. All of us here have had ancestors that fought for the Union during the American Civil War. And here's my ad. Here's, first of all, if you came here from Facebook, you probably saw this thing. If you see this, jump in here, because that means I'm about to do something. So this is the ad that I created this today. I use Canva. Canva is really easy to use, and look, I already got 4 likes on this. It's very easy to use. It's very self-explanatory. You don't have to have a lot of skills, and this is a picture that Laura took of me at one of the events I've done at the Lotes House, playing my fiddle, and I just wrote this up here. Civil War author Cody C. Engdahl at the Lotes House, Saturday, October 21st. Book signing and fiddle tunes. These are the books. These are my 4 novels. This is the latest one here, Mexico My Love. And soon this will be down here, and they'll have The Prussian Prince, which I'm getting very close to finishing the rough draft. I've finally broken through. I went through months of really struggling and just making progress almost every day, but dragging myself through it. But the end result of all that frustration and hard work is a book that I'm very proud of, that I think you're really going to like. And I think, it's going to be challenging because people love the American Civil War. So of course they buy that, and there's a lot of people love Romans. They like Vikings and Anglo-Saxons. They like medieval. They like World War II. They like the Civil War. I got a book that's about the Austro-Prussian War, but come on, man, those Prussians, they got the spiked helmets, man, they're really cool looking. And also, this is like this, planting the seeds that will eventually lead us to the 20th century and World War I. So if you know my books, you know that the historical parts of my book, I take great pains to not only tell you my story, but to really give you the real history is happening in my book, and to give you that story too. There's always a dual plot. There's the historical plot, and then my plot that's interwoven into that. So I'd like you to come out and see me. Let's see if I can pull up the Lotes House. We'll take a look at that. If I can get my computer's so buggy now. It's a Mac, but it's I use it so much. And let's see. Let's do the Lotes House. There we go. Lotes House History Museum, man. I'm telling you, I'm very proud to be part of their organization. I mean, you walk in and you go into the gift shop, and there are my books. So let's see here. Yeah, so the Lowe's house is at here's the address, 1111 Columbia Avenue, Franklin, Tennessee. I think they're open. I think JT told me that there's only 2 days that they're not open, and that's Christmas and Thanksgiving, so that his employees can have those off. But otherwise, they're open all the time because it's a lot of people are people are on vacation. There's Thomas Cartwright. He's one of the speakers there, one of the storytellers. Let's see. I wonder if they have me on their events. Although I won't bore you to death while I try to look. Facebook is always changing how you do things. So like how to do it one day, and then you come back and do it again. And no, I'm not on there, but I will be there for sure next Saturday, all day long. So come out, man. I'd like to see you. And if you're an author yourself and you want some advice, you want someone to talk to, I'll be there to talk to you about it, and we'll have a good time. And the other thing I'm going to do is, let's see if we can pull this up here. It's Morgan on the Rim. Morgan on the Rim. Morgan was a famous. What was he? Well, I'll have more. Sorry, I don't mean to have political stuff up there. What is going on? Here I am, full screen again. I'll have more on that probably next week when we talk. But that will be all weekend long. I don't know if there's a fee, but we'll talk about it next weekend. So real quick, because to tell you the truth, I got to get to bed soon because I'm going to be going to Louisville tomorrow, and I got to get up at like probably around 4 or 5. I got a promotion running starting next week. I think probably on Tuesday or Wednesday. The Perils of Perryville is going to be 99 cents in the U.S. for a whole week, and then we'll do 99 pence in the UK for a whole week after that. And I will probably run certainly Facebook Amazon ads, but I'll probably run Facebook ads too, which when I first started doing Facebook ads, I couldn't lose, but lately now they haven't been paying off very well. And I'm wondering because I'm just using the same ad, if they're not just the same creative, but like the same ad and just changing the dates, if it's just showing it to the same audience over and over and not looking for a new audience to look at, new people to show it. Because when I see people like it, the ad, I go to invite them to like my Facebook page, Engdahl House, and they've already been invited. So it makes me think that they're just showing my ad to the same people, and that's why those ads haven't been as effective. But the interesting thing is, I've learned this. All right, so if you listen to Brian Cohen, who's doing the author ad challenge right now, it's free. I recommend that. If you don't get in on this time, if you're an author, get in on it. It's every 90 days, and you learn how to do Amazon ads, and that's really the basis. Once you start doing paid advertising, the very first place that you should be doing is Amazon ads, because first of all, the people on you're actually advertising to the people who are actually there looking to buy books. When you're advertising on Facebook, they're not getting on Facebook to buy a book. They're getting on to look at pictures of their cousin's wedding or whatever, and they happen to see your ad and they might buy your book. But you should start on Amazon, because when you're there, they're actually, the people finding your ad are actually there looking to buy a book. So that's where you should be first. And the way it's set up, especially if you follow Brian Cohen's system, you don't spend a lot of money. It's at a trickle, and you want to spend money, because if spending money means people are clicking on your ad, and hopefully people are clicking on your ad, they're buying your book. So I highly recommend that. So I'll be running those ads. I only run ads for the first book because that's the entry into the series. But if I have a special going on one of the other ones, like a 99-cent promotion, then I'll run ads on that too. So I'll be running Amazon ads for Perils of Perryville, and on Facebook too. And this is what's interesting, is that when you run an ad for a book 2 or a middle book in your series, and you're giving it away for 99 cents, and that's only for like a week that you're allowed to do that. I find what happens a lot is people click on that ad, on the Perryville ad, and they go, "Oh, this is book 2," and they go, "Oh, but book 1's $2.99 and book 3 is $3.99, and I think book 4 is $4.99," and they end up just buying the whole series. They get kind of roped in to buy book 2 for 99 cents and say, "Well, I might as well just get the whole thing." Because there's no point in getting this book for 99 cents if I haven't read the first book. So I find that has worked before. We'll see how that does. So if you see ads for Perils of Perryville, that's exactly what I'm doing. Jump on board. What else do I want to tell you? The update with the writing is I really struggled with kind of landing the plane. Really struggled with the Battle of Konigratz, and 6 chapters of the Prussian Prince are about the Battle of Konigratz, and that is a huge record for me. Almost every book I've written, the big battles are 2 chapters. And it's not a rule that I created or anything like that. It just so happens that I tend to, my battles come out in 2 battles. Konigratz is the big marquee battle at the end of the Prussian Prince. It took me 6 chapters to write that battle. And it's not like the Civil War where there's 1,000 resources on there. There are firsthand accounts of the battle, and some, which I have, and there are some scholarly, I can't say that, academic nonfiction works about the battle as well. So I just really scrutinized and agonized over getting the details of the battle right and making my story make sense in the context of the real history, which is always very important to me. And I finished the battle, basically. The biggest hump was Carl's, my main character's, his actions in the battle, because it's not just an action scene, it's a plot-driven action scene. So I had to make sure that the things I needed to have happen and him do all made sense with the real history, and to give you when you read this book, you should have a good sense of the Battle of Konigratz and the Austro-Prussian War and why it happened and what happened because of it. So finishing the Battle of Konigratz was a huge, huge hurdle. Now I just have maybe like 2 chapters of the denouement, the falling action afterwards, to wrap up not just the historical part, but then the consequences and tie up all the loose ends, and to set up the next book. And there is, the next book's already being, at least here, plotted out. We're working on titles. I think when I mean we, Engdahl House is my girlfriend and me. We're talking it through. Right now, I think the title of the next book is going to be called The Rise of Empire. Although Laura likes Empire's, Empire, the Twilight of Empire. Empire's Twilight. Something like that. I don't know. Because there's a reason for that, but I don't want to get into spoilers right now, but we're going to talk. Empires are going to fall and empires are going to rise in the next book, and we're going to get into the Franco-Prussian War, and so that's going to be a lot of fun. I think now that I got done with Kona Gratz and everything is this wrap up, I think I'm going to have the first draft done by the end of October. And that means I'll have 2 months to, I mean, I have all the time I want, but I'd like to get it out the first of the year. What I've decided to do is usually I start editing right away, but like copy editing and that kind of stuff. But what I'm going to do first is I'm going to read through it. There's a couple ideas, things that I want to add. I want to go back and make some adjustments and add some things, insert some things that will help the whole thing make sense. So I'm going to do that first, and then I'm going to go through my process. If you've read my book, How to Write, Edit, and Publish Your First your novel, I'll be going through my editing process, which means chapter by chapter. I'll take a chapter, I'll run through spell check, and then I will read it out loud. And reading out loud, like if I read it quietly, I won't catch the mistakes. But I read it out loud, I'll catch typos and mistakes. And also just to make sure it flows, because sometimes it seems like it does if you read it quietly, but when you read it out loud, you go, oh, I used that word twice in the sentence. This doesn't sound really good. It doesn't flow very well. So I'll read it out loud. Then I'll run it through Grammarly, and Grammarly does a really good job. It's better than spell check. It's got some AI in it to just it understands the context that you're writing, so it'll catch things like you're using the wrong word here much better than spell checker does. And then once I do all of that, I will then send it as a PDF to Laura. She'll print it up and she will go through it with a red pen. And Laura, who's got a master's degree in science, but when you go to university, you learn how to write first, regardless if you're an English major or a writing major. You write papers, and by the time you get your doctorates, you write basically a book is your thesis. So Laura is one of the great things about Laura is where I come from more of a artistic, creative mind. She's more of a scientific, analytical mind. And so she's really good at detail, and she's got excellent command of grammar and excellent eye for mistakes. So she'll go through a red pen and she'll catch things like, hey, you spelt this person, this name this way, but you spelled it this way over here. You need to make sure all the spelling, and she's really good at that. So once she'll have it for like a week or two, and thankfully this book is a lot shorter than the last two. This one's going to be about 70,000 words, which the last two are like around 120. This one's going to be about the same length as Parallel Perryville, so it won't take her as long as the other ones did. Once she gets done, then she's going to send me all her edits, and then I'll spend some time going through and making the changes in fixing the things that she found. Then I'm going to send it to my mother, who's also a writer, and she does the same thing. By the time we do that, it's pretty clean. It's ready to go. I'll be formatting it and preparing it for both for three things: for the Kindle version, the paperback version, and the print and the hardback version. So hopefully all that will be done and ready to go. Last year we got Mexico My Love out in time for Christmas. It came out the day after Thanksgiving. I'm in no hurry to do that because there might be a few people that would buy it for someone else for Christmas, but I have heard from other people and found it for myself. People don't really buy books from especially little known authors. I mean, if you know someone's a big Stephen King fan and Stephen King's got a book out, that you might get that, but there's not going to be a lot of people buying Cody Engdahl books for other people for Christmas. That's fine. I have found, and it's really funny because when I put out Mexico My Love last year after Thanksgiving, I had an immediate burst of sales. I had pre-sales, and then friends and family and people followed me bought it right away. But then the sales fell right off the table, down to a trickle, and I was really worried. But then right after Christmas, the sales, I had the best year I've ever had in my life. This year already, I have made 3 times as much as I did last year in royalties. And that's not just the new book. That's across the board. That's all my books. The new books help sell your back catalog, always, because the new book comes out, people see it, and then they go, "Oh, this is book 5 of a series. Let me see what else he's got." So when I published Mexico, My Love, Rampage on the River, and The Perils of Perryville, and Blood for Blood in Nashville all started selling. So hopefully that'll do the same. And so anyway, people are busy in the holiday season, so it's not a good time for people to start a new book because they're going to Christmas parties and doing Christmas shopping and trying to finish up the year. But then after Christmas is done and things start settling down, people are ready to jump into a novel. They got Amazon gift cards, so that's great because you're selling on Amazon. So they're buying books. They're starting their New Year's resolution, like, "Hey, I'm going to read more this year." And there's always people starting to read. January is a great time to jump in for sales. So that's basically the plan. I got food on the stove. I am going to go to bed early because, like I said, I'm going to get about 4 or 5. Because what I do is I get up, I write, I spend some time writing. I spend a little time practicing my fiddle, and then I'm packing up. I'm hitting the road. I'm going to Louisville, which I will be there all week. I work for this research company, and it's out a lot of field research that I got to do. And they have me living in hotels, and I'm probably going to leave them after January, because I say I'd say at least that long, but I can't live like this. And I almost had to say no to JT about Cody Engdahl Day and doing another event, and we'll talk about that later on. But I will be playing fiddle at the candle lighting ceremony on the anniversary of the Battle of Franklin. And I told him no at first. And I said, no. The job that I'm doing was only supposed to supplement my writing career. It was not supposed to supplant it. So I said, no, I'm not turning down things. And because I had that, and I also have a Christmas gig that I do at Paul. That will be at Masker Station December 4th. And we'll be in 18th century costumes. So this is 1700s. And we'll be playing Christmas music at the old fort. It's a fort that was built in Tennessee on that site back in the 1700s. So we'll talk about that. I love you guys. If you're watching this in the replay, give me a comment. I'm going to answer it. Give me a like, subscribe, and if you're reading your favorite author, whether it's me or someone else, make sure give them reviews on give them as many stars as you feel right to do, as many as you're willing to give up. Give them as many stars as possible, and write a review. It doesn't have to be long. It could just be hey, great book, couldn't put it down. Give them a review on Amazon. Give them a review on Goodreads or wherever else you can leave reviews. It really helps. I do it. I'm constantly reading other people's books. I'm reading Lloyd Elmore Jr. It's because there's Elmore Leonard, and which is another one of my favorite authors that I've read a lot of his stuff. So I get Lloyd Elmore and Elmore Leonard mixed up constantly. Can I get those right in my head? Even though Lloyd and I are friends, I'm finishing reading Lloyd's book, Malinville. Laura's reading it too. We're really enjoying it. It's the first time we've done this where we both are reading a book at the same time, and then we're talking. It's like a little mini book club between the two of us where we're talking about it. I would say we're in the last. We're reading. I gave her my Kindle, and then I'm reading it on my iPhone. So we're like in the over 80% done with it. So we're wrapping it up pretty soon. And but what I was trying to say is that because I know how important it is to me, and that I read other people's books and I give them reviews, and I give everybody 5 stars. I know, but this is the way I look at it. I either like it if I don't like it. If I don't like it, then I'm just not going to review it. I'm not going to, I'm just going to kind of sweep it under the rug and pretend I didn't read it. I'm not going to give a review. I'm not going to give it stars. But if it's good and I enjoyed it, yeah, I'm going to give 5 stars, man, because it hurts not to get anything less than that. And I'm not telling you to do that for me. If you read my book and you're like, yeah, Cody, it's really 2 stars. It kind of sucked. That's fine. That's fine. Be honest. But my honesty is, if I didn't like it, I'm just not going to give it stars, and it helps it because those stars you get when people go to your page, it's an average of all the people who have rated it. And if you get under 4 stars, Amazon stops showing it to as many people than they would if you're 4 stars or up. So you want to stay 4 stars or up, and you'll get people that give you 1 stars or 2-star reviews for stupid things, and that aren't fair. And so I try to help my fellow authors by doing that. So I'm constantly reading, giving reviews. There's going to be one coming up for Lloyd sometime soon. We'll probably do a live about it. Lloyd, if you're watching this later on or even now, the reason why I do it late is because it's just the way my schedule is working out, where in fact I should be going to bed myself now too. It's just the only time I can get to it. And this weekend was really rough because I get home Friday evening, but I don't even get home. I go to Laura's house and stay the night with her, and then she wanted to go to a football game, so I stayed the night at Laura's house, and then I've been gone all week. I go straight to Laura's house, stay the night, get up. We go to Austin Peay because that's where Laura and I first met when we went to college. Back in the during the Roman Empire, and so we went and saw it. And so then we come back to my house and make dinner, and then she leaves around 11 or noon, and then I have from like noon until like now to like unpack from last week, do my laundry, take care of all the little things in my house, set up what I'm doing next week for work, and practice my fiddle and get a live in. And it's important to me to do the lives because I want to build up this channel. So like I said, thank you very much for watching, and please give me a like, give me a comment, subscribe if you would, and if you want to share it, absolutely, I'd be happy about that too. Love you guys. Expect great things from me. Brush Prince is coming soon, and come out and see me next weekend at the Loads House all day Saturday. If you miss that, I'll be at Morgan on the Rim the following weekend. I'll be there all weekend long, signing books and playing fiddle. See you soon.